the reality is that most real estate agents stay stuck on the same level of GCI for years because they're using the wrong marketing strategy for them and for their markets. After spending over $1 million on advertising and after working with hundreds of real estate agents all across the United States, I've had the privilege to get a true bird's eye view perspective of what works to get listings right now today in all kinds of different markets, geographical areas, and different kinds of niches. And here's what I mean. So when most real estate agents are doing somewhere around $50,000 to $100,000 per year with their businesses, they're usually wondering how they're going to double or triple their production. And when they're trying to double or triple their production, they're usually looking at listings. They're usually looking at a way to get fewer buyers and more listings. And this is usually the point where you get barraged with all sorts of different marketing tactics, marketing strategies, whether it be FISBOs, expireds, using TikTok, using email newsletter, using automated social media, creating content yourself, using postcards, mailers, you get the point. Now, can any of those methods actually work to get listings? Well, I'd never tell anybody that they never work because they do work and they can work. Here's what I'll say though. There is a strategic mismatch between the methods real estate agents are using to actually get leads and get the listing appointments, and between the market that they're in, their personality type, and really the actual client they want to work with. So what happens a lot of times is that some of these methods, they can definitely get you clients, but ultimately, long term, in terms of growing your business to a 2x, 3x level and working with the exact type of client you want to work with, a lot of the times these methods are not in alignment with what you're actually trying to achieve. So the very first thing I want to cover with you will be the strategy you're using in terms of your skills and your personality type. Your strategy should take into account whether you're an introvert, extrovert, whether you have skills for social media, photography, video, or whether you have skills for any other area. And it also needs to take into account, obviously, the market, the people you're trying to attract, and the way you want to attract them. But to give you a quick idea on this, let's say you are a very extroverted person. And by extrovert, I mean you get more energy by talking to more people, right? So you go out there and you start talking to people, doing door knocking or cold calling, and that makes you feel really, really good. You start enjoying it, you start really gonna get into that good state, and you can just door knock your whole day and just enjoy it, right? If you are a person like that, then probably a strategy like door knocking or like cold calling could work very well for you. But what I see a lot of the times is that there are introverted personality types. So meaning people that generally enjoy people coming to them as opposed to them going out there and trying to drum up business, right? If you're a person like that, then strategy you want to use is not going to be FISBOs, it's not going to be cold calling, it's not going to be door knocking, because whenever you need to make that cold call, you're going to be like, oh, I don't know if I need to make, if I can make this call. Or even if you force yourself to do it, at the end of that process, you just exhausted yourself out of energy and just feel tired, or you don't even enjoy the process, you kind of get overwhelmed with the whole thing, right? So if you're a more introverted person, it is much better to build your business around something like where people can see something from you, whether that be a video or social media piece content or whatever else you can do really to drum up that business so people come to you and ask you for your help from a place where they're already familiar with who you are. So take into account, okay, what are the skills you already have? If you don't have any skills, then you have a pure plate, right? You can build up those skills and get yourself to that level. And then look at the desired vision you want to have for your business. Do you want to be out there kind of like chasing people, going to the people yourself, or do you want to have people coming to you? Because those two are very different skills. With the other one, it's more a question of like perseverance, your hunger. With the other one, you need to build some other skills. You need to have attractive marketing that's going to pull people to you as opposed to you going to them, right? Now, the second thing I want to cover is working with the type of clients you want to work with. So a lot of times I see real estate agents, they start creating, as an example, TikTok videos, but their target audience is luxury real estate home sellers. So really, they're trying to create these TikToks, and the TikToks themselves to talk about like random things. They talk about like them going on like walking a cat, or it talks about like a random thing here and there, right? So they're using the strategy that's designed really just to gather an audience or gather people, and they're using a platform like TikTok that's very young in terms of demographics. But they're trying to attract these people that are these luxury home sellers, these people that are selling maybe $5 million house, $10 million house. So clearly there's a strategic mismatch because these people that own these luxury houses, they're usually, let's say 40, 50, 60 years old. They're millionaires, right? Why would they spend their time on TikTok? Now, some of them will be selling their house, and this is what you see a lot of the times when people say, oh, okay, look at this real estate agent. They got a luxury real estate listing from TikTok, right? And that's great. So there's going to be some people, but is there going to be a lot of people you really want to attract? And statistically speaking, most of the time, most home sellers, most home buyers, still to this day, they spend most of their time on Facebook and most of their time on YouTube. Those are the main platforms where the homeowners and really home buyers too are generally at. And then the marketing strategy you want to leverage is going to be one that's going to be in the right place for the right people at the right time and communicate the right type of marketing message. So this goes back to, again, going to the type of the clients you want to work with. And if you want to work with these luxury home sellers, you also want to look at your associations. So a lot of the times I see people that, okay, they want to get luxury clients, but then when you go up to their social media pages, there's like low resolution pictures, there's no social media content at all, or the content is like super automated. And so there's clearly a mismatch. Luxury home seller, let's say they have a $5 million house, $10 million house they want to sell, or even higher than that. What they want to see from a real estate agent is going to be that level of expertise. It's that cutting edge marketing they're going to get for their house. But clearly this real estate agent who has these low resolution images or this automated content, they haven't put really any effort into marketing themselves. So if they don't market themselves, their own business, right? How does the homeowner, how can they expect that they're going to market their home, right, better than any other real estate agent in the market? It's just not realistic, right? So take that into account. If you want to work with a high-end, high-quality, high-price range client, be that person yourself on your social media. Create your own content, have a great camera quality, have a good lighting, have a good clothes on, look at all these things, and then make sure you are staying at the right platform. If you want to be on, again, getting those luxury home sellers, they're probably going to be on Facebook, they're probably going to be on YouTube, those types of platforms, maybe Instagram as well, but you do want to make sure that you do have the right targeting, right thing in front of them when you're trying to attract them and communicate that in the right type of a way. Now, the third thing you want to look at is the competition level when it comes down to your local real estate market, when it comes down to leveraging that exact marketing method. So what I see a lot of the times is that people are, as an example, in a very populated area. There's a lot of people, and because there's a lot of people, obviously there's a lot of different real estate agents. And what they're trying to do is that they're trying to do strategy like cold calling or door knocking or things like this. And because of that, let's say you have a very populated area. As an example, let's say you're in LA, or let's say you're in any big city really in the United States, and there's millions and millions of people. So whenever that listing pops and it shows that it's expired or it is, again, FISBO, right? There's going to be tons and tons of real estate agents. We're talking about 50, 100 real estate agents. There's overseas virtual assistants calling that lead, and it's very, very hard, again, to convert that lead as that individual agent. So the question you want to ask is that, okay, the strategy you're using, is it something that not a lot of real estate agents know how to do already or are doing already? So a lot of the times I see when I talk with real estate agents is that they want to have a marketing strategy that is easy, it doesn't cost any money, and it is something that doesn't take a lot of work. They can just plug it in and just get it to work, right? The reality is that if there is a strategy that is easy, it doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't require any work, well, then everybody is doing it, and that strategy just saturates, right? It doesn't work anymore, or just doesn't get you the results for the bang of the money that you put in. So what you want to look at is actually a strategy that is going to be hard to execute, because there's going to be, again, big moat around you. When you learn those skills, when you learn those processes, when you put them in place, there's not going to be tons of people coming in and doing the same thing, right? You actually want to have a hard strategy. You want to have a strategy that takes some of work, because then, again, there's not going to be a lot of people coming in, but you want to have a strategy that also obviously has a high return. So when you actually do the work, when you actually put in the money or put in the effort to executing it, then it's a scalable strategy. It's something that's going to really take you, quote unquote, to the moon when it comes down to your business. So this is something you want to take into account as well. Is a strategy you're using something that's going to allow you, one of the time my mentor mentioned competing with idiots, right? Do you have a strategy that's going to allow you to kind of set yourself to a place where nobody knows what you're doing, where nobody is like doing the same exact thing as you? Or are you doing a strategy that's basically crowded, there's thousands and thousands of people doing the same thing, and you're kind of competing in this dark pool filled with sharks that are just trying to eat you alive, right? Which of these two scenarios do you have? Do you have that moat around you, or are you in that pool filled with sharks and everybody's trying to kind of get that one piece of the pie? Now, the fourth thing you want to look at is the scalability of your real estate marketing strategy. So a lot of times when people try to grow their business, whether it be 2x or 3x, and they're already making, let's say, $100,000 per year, they think that, okay, if I do the same things I'm doing right now, such as working with buyers, right? They're doing 100,000, let's say $200,000 per year, and they work with all these buyers. They think that, okay, now I want to get to $400,000, $500,000 per year. I'm just going to do the same exact thing, right? So they try to do the same thing working with buyers, but what they find is that they have no more hours in their day. So the hours just run out. They can't work with more buyers because their schedules are already filled out. They're driving people around, showing houses, doing all these different types of things. So what you want to look at is the strategy you're using, it needs to be one that you can scale. And working with listings is obviously the first priority you should have. Working with listings is the best way to scale your real estate business. This is not new science. You can go read Millionaire Real Estate Agent, as example, by Gary Keller. He's going to tell you the same exact thing. It's listing-based business is something that's going to scale usually the best. Now, the second thing you want to look at is also the way you're getting the clients. So if you're getting clients through very manual labor methods, you're doing things like cold calling, door knocking. At first, they're going to work to an extent. You're going to get a couple clients here and there. But at some point, even if you are extrovert, even if you are doing the cold calls, you are gonna run into a wall because again, you don't have more hours to cold call. You don't have more hours to door knock because you're already working with these clients here. You're putting in the hours to cold call here and the hours just run out. You can't do 2 times more cold calling because there's no more hours in the day. So because of that, a lot of the times the strategy you use, you also want to take into account is that can you scale it to a larger pool of people? Meaning if you do 100 cold calls a day, can you do 500 cold calls a day? Can you do 1,000 cold calls a day? And usually the answer to that is no. So while cold calling and door knocking, they can definitely be good strategies when you're starting out, especially if you are somebody who's more extroverted and you have those sales skills to convert people from that very cold point. Even if you are good at that, it's good to be aware that at some point you are gonna run into that wall. So try to select, even if you are an extrovert, right? Try to build marketing systems in place, whether that be your lead generation, whether it be your nurturing, setting up your automations, but also building your organic social media platforms such as YouTube, such as Instagram, such as Facebook, because these are things that are infinitely scalable. When I create this video, I could have 10,000 people see this video, or I could have one person seeing this video. The time needed to create this video right here that I'm recording, it's gonna be the same exact regardless of how many people will see this video. And it's gonna be on YouTube obviously for years. A lot of people will see it. And again, it does not gonna take any more time from my end. After I post it, it's gonna be there and it's gonna get those views, it's gonna get those people to see that. So the same thing for your business. Sure, if you are an extrovert, if you are somebody that loves cold calling, it works for you, great. But be aware that at some point you do want to have that scalability. You do want to have that quote unquote passive clients coming in the door that have seen your marketing and they're reaching out to you and you're able to work with them. Because if you just keep doing cold calling, just keep doing door knocking, you will be stuck at that certain level you're at. So that's it for this video. So remember these 4 key things and leave me in the comments which one was the most useful to you and why.